Regional Indian Center. Oh, hello. We have court service presentations today from Hamilton Regional Indian Center, John Howard Society, Elizabeth Fry, Six Nations Justice Department Indigenous Victim Services, Salvation Army, and CMHA. All of us are going to introduce ourselves and tell you a little bit about the services we offer. We'll start with Hamilton Regional Indian Center.
Hi everyone, my name is Jessica Montana and I am the Indigenous Criminal Court Worker. I work for the Hamilton Regional Indian Center and I'm going to tell you a little bit about the services we offer. So what we do is the Aboriginal Court Worker Program is available to provide assistance to Indigenous people who are in conflict with the legal system, whether they are status, non-status, Métis, or Inuit. We help guide Indigenous peoples through the court process. So whether that be helping them apply for legal aid, helping them kind of explain the process. So getting screening and disclosure and different things like that. So whatever they need support with, we help guide them through that process. We also help to ensure that when they're applying for legal aid and they're retaining counsel, that we give them information to help support them in choosing a counsel that's going to work best with them. So we're able to provide some information, basically give them a few names of different lawyers that sit on our Indigenous Peoples Court that work well with Indigenous people. It's very important for people to choose a lawyer that's going to help support them because when you apply for legal aid, it's very hard to switch lawyers once you have already sent the legal aid certificate to them. So I always advise people to make sure that they are kind of doing their research, asking around, and making sure that they are choosing a lawyer that's going to work best with them. Other things that we do is we help explain the process and decisions that are made in court. So if a person doesn't understand what's going on or understand kind of a sentence that they were given or basically a resolution that's being offered to them by the Crown, we can help explain that. And if they need any legal advice, we would help them contact Duty Counsel to get legal advice. We also ensure that when a person needs a GLADU report written, we ensure that that happens. A GLADU report is a report that's written for Indigenous accused people who are being sentenced to 90 days or more in jail. So basically that report will let the courts know of information about the person's background as an Indigenous person, some things that they may have went through in their life and their family. So maybe that will talk about maybe their parents or grandparents attended residential school, some things that had happened to them in residential school, or kind of talk about that historic trauma that's been passed down from generation to generation. And that gives the courts a better idea of basically what they've been through and a better picture of the person's life in general, so that it basically helps the court see what they've been through and take that into account when sentencing an accused person. We also help to explain to a person who is being placed on bail what this means and what to expect when they're on bail, and make sure that they fully understand what their bail terms are. We also work collaboratively with community agencies to help support an accused person. So today we have many community agencies here that support people going through the court process. So we generally make a lot of referrals out to different service providers, to the Hamilton Regional Indian Center, to different programs and services that we offer there as well. Some programs that I make referrals to at HRIC is the Kijé Anishinaabe Nin program. So that program is very important because it addresses violence against women, community, and families in general. And the courts really like to see that people are taking that program to address the underlying issues and basically help them address um, roles and responsibilities and things like that. And it talks about the 7 grandfather teachings. Yeah, and then we also have many other programs. We have our community mental health program. We have our Aboriginal drug and alcohol program that I make a lot of referrals to. We have a whole housing department. So if people are having issues with homelessness, we can make referrals to our housing department and they will help support the person in getting housed. We actually opened up a new Indigenous drop-in hub for homeless people where they can go and basically hang out, get fed. We offer breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then they can have the services within that center to help with housing needs. Yeah, we have tons of programs at HRIC that help with many different things. We also help clients who are incarcerated in provincial jails to connect to the NILO workers. So NILO is the Native Inmate Liaison Officers. We connect people to them. Before COVID, I know they were offering programs within the jail. They would do smudging, offer teachings and circles. Right now, I think it's mostly just helping with release planning. A lot of the programs were put on hold because of COVID, so hopefully that'll start back up again soon. We also help conduct self-represented Crown pretrials. So if a person was unable to retain counsel due to not being accepted for legal aid and they don't have enough money to get a lawyer, then we can help provide assistance with conducting Crown pretrials. We'll attend with them and kind of advocate if the person has basically more simple offenses, then we can advocate to get them into our Indigenous Community Justice program. That program is our diversion program that is offered to those that have offenses such as like mischiefs and assaults, like lower offenses anyways. So we can help get them into this program, and then basically what happens is I'll send a referral to the ICJP program and they'll reach out and schedule an intake and a circle. And during that circle, they'll have community council members and the program coordinator in that circle, and they'll discuss basically the charge, what brought them before the court, and how they can help support this person with the underlying issues that has brought them before the court. And they'll come up with a healing plan together, and it'll be up to that person to complete their healing plan. And if they complete their healing plan, then their charge would be withdrawn from the court. If they were unsuccessful in completion, then their charges would be sent back before the court to deal with it in a regular manner. We also support through the process of release planning as well. So I know the NILO worker also does this, but we also help support. We may work alongside the NILO worker or the social workers in the jail to help with release planning. I like to connect people before they're released to other services of support. So whether that be housing and different things like that, I'll make those referrals before they're released and have the workers reach out. That way that connection is made before release. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about is things that we're not allowed to do. So as court workers, we are not lawyers, so we're not allowed to give legal advice. So that's why I said we always connect you to duty counsel to get legal advice if that's what's needed. So we cannot give legal advice. And the other thing we're not allowed to do is supervise bails, probation, and parole. Thank you.
Okay, so I am Scano, Christina Nigiaso, Austin Dickasanatse. I'm a Six Nations band member, and I'm the combined Indigenous court worker for Hamilton Regional Indian Center. I assist youth that identify as Indigenous in the criminal justice system in Hamilton and surrounding areas. I also assist individuals that identify as Indigenous with child protection and family court matters in Hamilton's Superior Court of Justice, the family branch. I'll give you my phone number right off the top. It's 905-308-5526. So for the youth, I pretty much do a lot of what Jessica just mentioned. I can help them get in touch with sureties, get legal aid, and find a lawyer. I'm considered a professional contact for the youth facilities such as Peninsula Youth Center and Errol. So the youth can call me when they are held in custody and it doesn't count towards their phone time. I appear in court with them in bail court, youth case management, plea court, trial court. Out of all of my clients, youth in custody take priority. So the phone number for criminal duty counsel is 905-528-0387, extension 12. And the reason why I'm providing that is because, as Jessica said, I'm not a lawyer and I cannot give legal advice, but I'm just there as a support to help and obviously also provide the connections and the referrals to the services that I feel or they feel that they're ready for. So a lot of times I pretty much sell these services to the youth and tell them this would be very beneficial for you. And sometimes taking different programs helps the court understand that the youth is serious about changing, right? And I think that's what it's all about is you want to take those steps. And even if you only take a little bit away from some of the programs that you're involved in, it's a step in the right direction. So for family court, I need to emphasize again, I am not a lawyer and therefore cannot give advice. I will defer clients to either contact duty counsel for family court advice at 905-645-6276. Again, that's 905-645-6276, or contact their family law legal representative. For family court clients, I assist getting legal aid and provide a list of lawyers that accept legal aid. I can assist the clients in typing up the court papers, but I do not serve court papers or upload them to the portal. That's their responsibility. If they're not using a lawyer, they have to do that themselves. I split my time between the HRIC office located at 34 Ottawa Street North, and every other week I'm at the John Sapinka Courthouse at 45 Main Street East. That's in Suite 316 in Hamilton. So Jessica pretty much covered a lot of the stuff that I do for the youth. The family court, I attend court with them as well. And if I have time, like, I mean, sometimes I literally have 3 computers going and I'm like, okay, this one's up, I can deal with this one, and this one I can't deal with. But family court, you can't really do that because your camera's on the whole time. So it's a little bit more difficult to help with that respect. But I try to schedule everything in and assist them. And the reason why I go to court with them is because a lot of times things are said that the clients don't understand. And if you call the lawyer with a lot of questions, you're using up your legal aid money, or if you're paying them directly, you're using up your money. It's very costly. So I can support them in answering questions about process and terminology and stuff like that, but I can't give advice, obviously. But that's what I do. And I am so swamped and busy. So if you have any other questions, by all means, give me a call. The next one up is Holly from John Howard Society.
Hello, thank you. I'm Holly from John Howard Society. I'm the team leader with the Bail Verification and Supervision Program. So with that program specifically, we provide services to the Hamilton John Sapinka Courthouse for criminal court matters. And the bail program has always dealt with ages 16 and up. And the purpose of the program is to provide verified factual information to the court on an accused person and a potential surety they may have. And in place of that, for those individuals that do not have someone or community supports to make release or be surety or have financial conditions of their own to meet that, we can help support a plan of release. So someone would get released with conditions to report to us, and then part of supervision is following other terms of conditions and motivating them around any services that may be of assistance to them. And then, like the others have mentioned, we're not lawyers, but we are legal advocates. So providing that role of directing them on how to connect with legal aid, obtain screening and disclosure, and connect with sort of those supports. And for our court process and services, we also have a role to remind people of their court dates and assure attendance in court. So that is one of our goals as well. Through the Hamilton Courthouse, we also provide diversion programs. So for adults, it's the direct accountability program, and for youth, it's the extrajudicial sanctions program. And those programs are referred to by the Crown, and individuals referred get diverted from the court process and meet with us, our staff, instead. And if they complete a program or sanction or measure, then that ultimately would result in the charge being withdrawn. The John Howard Society overall sort of mission is to provide effective and just responses to crime and its causes. So our services are for men and women, youth and adults. And we have varying programs that start with pre-involvement of the justice system, involved with the justice system, and post-involvement of the justice system. So we have youth programs, workers in schools, fetal alcohol spectrum program, family support. We do have as well pre-charge diversion. So to keep people out of going into court, the police can refer where appropriate, and then they can complete a measure to get the charge withdrawn, and they don't even have to appear in court. We do have our Center for Conflict Resolution and Prevention, which incorporates all our services of restorative justice, anger management, and intimate partner violence. We have release support, so toll-free number, and where possible, some supplies for people. We support record suspension or pardon applications. And then as well for virtual court recently, which has been sort of a new thing since COVID, we do have a 1-800 number for people who are looking support on how to navigate the virtual court process and how to join. And then we also have employment programs. And so that's for people who are at risk of involvement with the justice system, currently involved in the justice system, or who have served sentences provincially or federally. And we work on providing them connections to jobs, resumes, employment supports, and we also have pre-apprenticeship programs there. So in terms of our services, some are mandated, some anyone can refer to, and it's best to contact our main office to get more information. It's 905-522-4446. And yeah, like everyone else, we do work to try and support people going through the court process, and also refer to a lot of the people here and others. And my contact information will appear at the end. Thank you.
So I think it's Fry next.
Hello, my name is Julie, and I'm one of the court support workers at the Elizabeth Fry Society in Hamilton. The Elizabeth Fry Society Ontario region has been providing services to the Hamilton community for over 50 years primarily for women who are, have been, or at risk of being in conflict with the law. Over 90% of the women we service have suffered abuse, live in poverty, and or suffer from mental health challenges. We offer community programs for folks going through the criminal justice system, such as anger management, self-esteem, shoplifting, human trafficking, and gender-based violence individual counseling. Our aim is to offer wraparound supports for women from the moment that they are charged. We assist with navigating the criminal justice system, helping with legal aid. Again, we are not a lawyer and cannot give legal advice. However, we can help get disclosure, screening the language, and assist with any questions that any folks may have in regards to the criminal justice system. We connect up with community members in regards to offering supports and programs within the community and also in the institutions. We go into the provincial and federal jails doing individual counseling, running programming, and release planning. To help successfully reintegrate back into the community, we have connections with the social workers on the inside and also community partners on the outside. Our court support worker advocates and liaises between the Crowns, lawyers, duty counsel, and client to provide support and connections to programming, referrals, and resources as needed. We also liaise with the staff in the correctional institutions, provincial and federal, as well as probation officers and community partners to support folks to be successful reintegrating into the community and reduce recidivism. We also offer a drop-in for women to be able to access employment help, housing, clothing, food, hygiene products, any supports that are needed, because our aim is to reduce the barriers to reduce recidivism. Another program that we have run for over 35 years is a community service order program. It is a sentencing disposition for adult offenders, which can be an alternative option to incarceration for most offenses. The CSO program provides a community-based sentencing option that will develop and supervise specific activities relevant to holding the offender accountable for harm done and provide opportunities for the client to be a contributing member of the community. The CSO program works with about 80 to 100 nonprofits in Hamilton, as well as the 3 area probation offices. So we work in the community with the probation officers, with the lawyers, with the client, meet them where they're at from the moment they're charged, navigating the criminal justice system, working on within the institution to provide supports, release planning, and then connecting in the community to provide supports, whether it be programming, individual counseling, whatever supports are needed. So anyone who has any questions in regards to the criminal justice system can contact eFRI number at 905-527-3097, extension 231, for any information that's needed.
Hi, my name is Carol Burke and I'm from Six Nations. My family name is Jameson, my clan is Bear, and my nation is Cayuga. So we're working out of the Six Nations Justice Department, and we have a variety of services and programs that we offer the community as well. And I just want to say that we do service the areas of Hamilton, Brantford, and Caledonia. And that we work with the Six Nations that we have here, which are Seneca, Cayuga, Oneida, Onondaga, Mohawk, and Tuscarora. We're one of 13 different programs in Six Nations, elected council area here on the Six Nations territory. Some of the programs that we do offer are community standards, victim services, restorative justice, legal aid, Section 84, and the bail supervision and verification program. I'm going to have Sierra talk about the Indigenous Victim Service Program right now.
Everyone. Yes, my name is Sierra Barker. I'm one of 3 court advocates that work under Indigenous Victim Services, a program that's under Six Nations Justice. We're here today to talk to you about our court services specifically. So to begin, I can share that as one of 3 court advocates, we work to provide assistance to victims that are going through the court system. And we also assist victims of tragedy. So victims of tragedy may include those who have experienced house fires, a sudden loss in their family, or car accidents. And then we also assist those who are victims of crime, including domestic violence, mischief, human trafficking, homicide, sexual assault, and more. We assist those that are living in and involved in court matters in the surrounding areas of Six Nations, Brantford, Hamilton, and Cayuga. IVS is prepared to assist victims from the time they are considering reporting a crime, or perhaps post-crime when charges are already laid, all the way until the accused court matter is resolved in the courts and the victim no longer requests services. Depending at what time we get involved in the process, we are able to provide different services. So to begin, I can share a little bit about our Victim Quick Response Program, known as VQRP+. This is a financial assistance program that's available to meet the immediate needs of victims and beyond by providing assistance not limited to safety items, so funding for cell phones or other safety features such as door locks, food, clothing, and shelter. And depending on eligibility, VQRP can cover much more, including assistance for emergency healthcare, legal fees, and moving costs. Now, I'm here today, as I said, to talk to you specifically about our court support. So what does that look like? Indigenous Victim Services court advocates work to ensure victim rights are upheld by all justice partners. So this would include police, Crown, court staff, and so forth. We start by educating victims about their rights. And as advocates, we can ensure that victims are aware of their accused form of release and the protective conditions that have been put in place. So for example, if their accused is awaiting a bail hearing, what we can do is we can provide victim input to the Crown. So that would include their victims' concerns regarding their safety and the ultimate release of their accused. We'll continue to check in and provide court updates to victims throughout the court process, including if and when their accused is released on bail. Now, as their accused court matter comes to a resolution or it heads to trial, again, we can provide a different range of supports. As the matter comes to the resolution, advocates can provide that victim input to the Crown and seek updates on the Crown's positions regarding these resolutions. So if the accused is to plead guilty, what might the Crown seek as a sentence? If the court matter goes to trial, advocates will work in coordination with other services to prepare victims to testify in court. This is working in collaboration with mainstream victim witness services as well as the Crown Attorney's Office. This could include organizing teleconferences, virtual or in-person meetings with these justice partners and the victim. Advocates can familiarize victims with the courtroom, so the layout of the courtroom, who are the key players, and educate them about the trial process. This is part of our trial preparation, getting victims aware of the courtroom and what to expect. Upon resolution of the court matter or a guilty verdict, advocates can assist victims with victim impact statements and support them in person in court. After court, advocates, we can help victims register with the Parole Board of Canada under the Victim Registry so that they can be notified if their offender has been given a federal sentence, or we can also assist victims by connecting them to their local probation office should their offender be given a sentence that involves probation. All in all, throughout this process, it looks different for every victim and every accused, depending on how they choose to handle their court matters. But throughout this whole process, advocates will provide court updates and check-ins to the victim. We offer emotional and moral support throughout this entire process. So this also includes answering court questions, not providing legal advice, but we are generally able to explain court processes, investigation processes, and so forth. We address safety concerns along the way from the very beginning until the end. So this would include safety planning, looking into getting safety measures. We also educate victims on their rights and their options. It's very common to be assisting a victim who's accused is going through the court and the victim has to decide whether or not they may want to report a breach, or perhaps another occurrence happens along the way. We're able to help victims understand what their rights are as well as their options, as I have mentioned. Furthermore, we advocate on behalf of victims to service providers, justice providers, and we also provide service referrals. So As has been mentioned, we often refer to many of the services that are before you today in this presentation, but other service referrals might look like connecting them to housing and shelter services, health services, legal clinics to get that legal advice, counseling referrals, and other services that will meet their immediate needs. All in all, advocates, we work to empower victims so that they can take control of their healing process. We provide resources, we provide options, and we empower the victim to connect with their needed services and request our advocacy if needed. All in all, we provide services from 9 to 4:30, Monday through Friday. We work to meet the needs shared by the victim and our voluntary service. We are willing to support victims virtually, so via Zoom or phone, and as well as we enter our new fiscal year, we are also seeking to return to providing in-person support. So that's in-person meetings as well as in-person support in court. Due to COVID, these aren't services that we were previously providing. As mentioned at the very beginning, we also assist victims of tragedy, so victims of car accidents, sudden loss, and these supports look similar to what I've explained already. So giving check-ins, the support, financial assistance, advocacy, and the referrals and resources. Case files are closed shortly after a court process is complete, but normally it happens when the client and advocate agree that there's no further services that are needed or no further services to provide. Our office, our direct line where we can be reached Monday through Friday is 1-866-964-5920, and that is our direct line for Indigenous Victim Services. And that is it for my presentation. Thank you.
Okay, I'm just going to hop on because we do have some additional services that we do provide individuals. And one is the Restorative Justice Program. The lady in charge of that is Lady Cano. And they do a lot of work with, actually, they can do youth as young as 12 and up that are Indigenous and prepare information for the courts and get things ready. They do, again, service provisions for services for these individuals. They've been very successful using the Aboriginal approach with those that were accused and the victims, and doing circles as well for them to come to some conclusion as to what's happened, doing some restorative work with individuals who have had some financial reasons why they are not able to pay the fines, and make arrangements for that as well. So they've been very active with the community and getting services to the clients that are needed, and preparing, I find the letters to court have been very successful. One of the other services that we provide is called Flick Click. That's Family Legal Information Clinic and Criminal Information Legal Clinic. So we also have this on Tuesdays between 9 and 1 a.m. It's a voluntary arrangement, and we set up a lawyer for the individual. So they normally will call in during the week and are set up currently by Zoom. And we're hoping that this will also go back to in person. And we again service individuals from Six Nations, Brantford, Hamilton, and Cayuga who want to utilize these services for the lawyer that's available for them to speak to. We also have community standards, and this is moving along with setting up some bylaws and community needs that are being addressed. And I think one of the areas eventually will become the dogs on the reserve, looking at residential properties. The environment certainly will be something. So that's coming work that will be taking place. We also have the bail program, which is very similar to the other programs that have been discussed with the Aboriginal approach. We have Kathy Bomberry and Megan Gibson, who are always at the court office and have their own room there that are available to help our individuals that are Indigenous that require services. And they do both verifications of information about the accused person at the court and the supervision of accused persons as an alternative to custody while awaiting a court disposition or trial. And I think that's all the programs that we've got right now. Sarah's given the phone number. So like, if you have any Indigenous clients that require services, please feel free to have them reach out to us, or you can reach out to us for services. So thank you so much.
Thank you,
Hello, I'm
Carol.
going to attempt.
I'm sorry, I think April was going to say something.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, no? Okay.
No, I'm just listening. I'm getting a lot
Oh,
of
okay.
information. It's wonderful.
Okay. Sorry about that.
That's
So
okay.
I guess we'll move on to Salvation Army. Thank you, Linda.
Okay, I'm going to attempt to share my screen and we'll see how it goes. Okay, does it look good? No notes on it? Okay, I need to get rid of this though. Okay. Hello, my name is Linda Jackson and I'm a chaplain. Whoops. I'm a chaplain for the Salvation Army in Hamilton and area. In this short presentation, I hope to give you a little background on the Global Salvation Army and what the correctional and justice services in the South Central Ontario region have to offer locally in the courts, institutions, and beyond. The Salvation Army is a worldwide church and social services organization currently serving in 132 countries in over 180 languages. This is the mission statement of the Canada-Bermuda Territory. In our territory, correctional and justice services are available in every province and Bermuda. Yes, Bermuda is part of our territory. I have no idea why. To get closer to home, I work in the South Central region and my head office is in Toronto now. The statement of values drives our work and what we can provide around the region. As noted here, court and prison chaplaincy, community and justice programs, community residential facilities for federal adult parolees, and residential programs for youth. Chaplains are active in 13 South Central Ontario courts. That is just the South Central. There are other courts that are around, such as Niagara and Kitchener, that we are also involved with. In provincial institutions, and federal institutions. In practical terms, court chaplains provide to the accused information about the court process and people who are involved in that process, make referrals if needed, and clothing on a limited basis, unfortunately not as available as before COVID. For the family, victims, and witnesses, we can provide information and support through the process. For instance, just as little as sitting with individuals in court if that's needed. Provide them with information about programs and the referral process. We also provide support to programming, spiritual literature, amongst other things, for those incarcerated. In Hamilton, one of the programs we can provide is the Positive Lifestyle Program. 12 modules of about 1 hour each. These are directed discussions to increase awareness of negative influences and encourage the pursuit of new approaches to promote positive life changes. These are currently provided online or over the phone for those without computer access. Fees are on a sliding scale. POP can be useful in many parts of the process, and referrals are made to the numbers shown at the bottom, which I believe will also be shown at the end of the presentation. But any of those people can make referrals. We also provide several justice programs, anger management with different levels of intensity, different lengths of time, in groups, in private settings, along with theft prevention, alcohol and drug awareness, restorative parenting, and victim impact. All these programs are currently online. There is a fee for service, and registration is on the website at the bottom of the page. I also have brochures for all these programs with more detail and more information that I will try and get out to you. It's easy to refer clients, and referrals can come from many sources. And just to give you some scope of the Salvation Army that you may not be aware of, we provide over 100 beds in community residential facilities in these beautiful century homes for offenders on conditional release from federal correctional facilities, or a new multipurpose apartment building, also providing community programming. Additionally, we have residential and community-based services to young persons who are involved in the youth justice system. The Salvation Army is able to provide support and encouragement during the entire justice experience. We have 218 employees serving in this region, of which I am one of the chaplains. The founders of the Salvation Army were William and Catherine Booth. On May 9th, 1912, General Booth gave his final, most distinguished address to a packed crowd of 7,000 Salvationists at the Royal Albert Hall in London, England, 1912. This speech is well known by Salvationists and known as the I'll fight speech. Booth's final words sum up the heart of the Salvation Army's mission and vision and his own 60-year ministry. While women weep as they do now, I'll fight. While little children go hungry as they do now, I'll fight. While men go to prison in and out as they do now, I'll fight. While there is a drunkard left, while there is a poor lost girl upon the streets, while there remains one dark soul without the light of God, I'll fight to the very end. And sadly, so the fight continues. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mary Ellen Riddell, and I'm the Director of Mental Health Court and Peer Support Services. So I want to tell you a bit about our court support program today and let you know what we offer, how you can access services, and really what to expect once a referral is made. So we offer 4 court support services to adults. All of our services are voluntary, and they include court support consultations, mental health diversion, release from custody, and intensive case management. So individuals who are eligible for these services are folks who are currently facing charges, have a confirmed diagnosis of mental illness, addiction, or a concurrent disorder, or you or someone else suspects a diagnosis and you're willing to explore this possibility. So everyone starts at the consultation phase, and here a case manager walks the individual through the court process, assists in linking you to duty counsel if you qualify, and speak with family members if you wish. They also provide consultation and support to defense attorneys, crowns, and other court personnel. Second, our mental health diversion is a program that is agreed upon by you, the crown, and the victim. So essentially what happens is that the charge that you're facing is diverted from the criminal justice system to the mental health system for about 6 months. Now, during those 6 months, you work on goals established by yourself and the case manager. And the goals aim to set you on track for mental well-being. The CMHA's approach and the approach of the court support services is holistic and client-centered, which means we work with all different community programs to set you up for a wide range of things that you wish to accomplish. They will build on your strengths to manage issues that brought you into the criminal justice system. And then if diversion is successful, your charges are withdrawn. Our next program is our release from custody program. Now that starts actually at the custody center that you're in. It's typically accessed through a referral from the custody center's social worker. And with that referral, case managers begin to work with you while you remain in custody, and they build out goals for release that again also sets you on a track for mental well-being. And then once you're released, we continue to work with you on that goal achievement for, again, another 3 to 6 months, depending on how things are going. Our last program is our intensive case management. Now, this is for individuals where diversion has either not been granted, but mental health supports are identified as being helpful, or sometimes if one of the other programs ends, we can move you into our intensive case management program if there's still some support that you need. So if diversion's been successful, but there's still a thought that some extra support might be beneficial, we can move you into intensive case management. Again, our case managers work with you using a holistic client-centered approach that again builds on your strengths to manage those issues that brought you into the criminal justice system, again in the hopes of reducing recidivism. And then we'll navigate and liaise with you and community supports identified by yourself that everyone thinks will be most helpful. The question, who could refer? Anyone, including yourself. We accept referrals from all different sources. What happens once you're referred? So you can expect a case manager to reach out to you within 5 business days. They'll begin the process of engagement with an initial discussion. It determines the best way to support you. They'll assist in obtaining pertinent court documents that you may need, sign any necessary consent forms, but most importantly, they'll walk right beside you throughout your whole situation. Now, as mentioned from other folks, a quick note about the limitations. Again, our case managers can't provide legal advice or speak on your behalf in court, and we're unable to be part of bail plans. But we're certainly here to speak with you. So for any further questions or to refer, you can reach out by calling 905-521-0090, or you can email at info@cmhahamilton.ca. So that's info@cmhahamilton.ca. And we look forward to supporting you.
Thank you, everyone.
I'm just going to share my screen so that I can share everyone's contact information. So this is everyone's contact information. If anyone is going through the court process and needs any supports from any of the individuals that has come out today to speak about their programs, you can reach out to them at any of these numbers. And I just want to thank everyone for sharing today. This will be great information for the community. Thank you.
Thank you for your time, everyone. It was nice to meet you all.
Now we go.